Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sketchcraft Shout-Out. I am Rob D, aka Sketchcraft, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars Underworld, the Yavin Vassilika drawn by my man Carlos Meglia. And here to talk about some Carlos Meglia art, which is the whole reason why we're doing this, is my buddy Uncle Jerk.
Welcome back, boils and ghouls.
That's right. It's Carlos Meglia time, my man.
I know, dude. I'm stoked up. The only reason I finished this series is because he drew it.
Fair enough. Also, folks, if you don't know who Carlos Meglia is, link will be right below, but you can go check out our Art of Carlos Meglia video that we did. That will cover everything you need to know about Carlos Meglia and his art style and everything else, including some artwork on this that's not in here. And heads up, we got hit up by the publisher, the author of that book, and he gave us the big thumbs up. So I thought that'd be fun to share with y'all.
I know, that was so cool. I love it when that happens, man.
Yeah, that was super fun. He appreciated it. Well, we're here to talk about Star Wars Underworld, the series that came out in 2001, written by Mike Genndy, drawn by Carlos Meglia, published by Dark Horse Comics. These are the floppies. There was 5 issues. I have 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 5. 4 is somewhere. I don't know. I had it. I bought it. I don't know where it is. That's fine. But I only show them to you because I wanted to show you how much Dark Horse appreciated Carlos Meglia's art by putting it on no
And it like
cover.
wasn't even like Meglia, man. It was like they everybody is scared of fucking cartooning in comics, and it upsets me because like Dark Horse, I don't think felt like they could bank on truly cartooned Star Wars books, which was dumb as hell because like when I was working in a shop and stuff back then, and like their big stuff was stuff like Tag and Bink. And it's like as a guy who's like not that huge of a Star Wars nerd, Tag and Bink was like one of the coolest, funnest books. I don't know how they didn't lean into that.
Kind of a Mike Ringo, Art Adamsy kind of looking thing too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And not for nothing, Scott Campbell, remember at the time they were taking like he did that cover to Star Wars Galaxies magazine, and that was actually really popular. You know, he used a cartoony art. So I don't understand. Also, not for nothing, there's an artist called Otis Frampton. You guys can follow Otis Frampton. I'll put a link below. Who a couple years ago, or I lose track of time after COVID, folks, but a few years back, on his own, he did 100 covers for a series he wanted Dark Horse. He just was like pitching it through social media. Called the Jawa Adventures, and he drew them like his Jawas are very similar to Meglia's, and they're very fun. Like they could just buy all 100 of his covers and just put it in a book and sell it. Like, what's up, Scribblies? Check it out. I got a new website, sketchcraft.com. I've had the URL forever, but I've been working on my own website here on Squarespace where I can put all my art in one spot in case you don't like to do social media and the world's crumbling around you. You just want to hang out someplace that just has the cool art. Look, I got everything I've done in the past 20 years. You want to see Spawn kills every Spawn? All right, you want to see some concept art, some pages, covers, and stuff that I did for my latest series published by Todd McFarlane and Image Comics? You can check it here. There's tons of stuff, folks. There's tons of stuff in here, not just examples, but concept art. Look, thumbnails, all that good stuff here on sketchcraft.com. Also, I got a shop. If you'd like to buy some original art from me, this is where I put it. Right now, this is gonna fill up, folks. I got a lot more. We got stuff for $50. We got poster prints. We got original art. My scribblies, all this stuff right here. You can sort it by you can sort by the newest stuff. So if you want to see what's new, you can always click right there. Also, if you want to find out what I'm talking about, you could check out the old blog, right? We'll go to the homepage. Check this out. I got a cool blog button. Bam! Click on that blog. This is where I just give little life advice, little insights. My latest post, Why Creative Work Isn't Always a Straight Line, is a fun read. You can get right down there, easy breezy. Helps Google know that this website's more than just images and stuff. That's how it works. And if you're really interested in all the little stuff that I come up with and things that I'm finding out on that don't fit around the channel, just subscribe to my stupid newsletter. Takes 10 seconds, and once a month I'm working on 2. I will put out a newsletter giving you all the little insights and stuff that I like, maybe some tutorials, maybe some exclusive shows. You never know, folks. I'm gonna make the most out of this. It's the little Sketchcraft fan club. This is my little hangout spot. So I put this all together myself on Squarespace, so I would appreciate if you check it out, sketchcraft.com. All right, back to the show. Peace. They're amazing. So definitely go check that out if you're interested in this kind of art. I want to talk to you a little bit about the story for Underworld. I'm going to give you guys the shorthand because this is a confusing as fuck story. And if you aren't well versed in the books, especially the Bantam books, the novels around this time, you will not understand what's going on. I don't know who approved the Insider Base. It should be called Star Wars Insider Baseball because
dude, like I wanted to like this series. So it is really fun, and there's like these great action sequences, and like it's actually pretty funny. But it's like I didn't know what what was going on. I had to like look up this web page that blew the ending for me.
I will explain it as we go along. I just want you guys to know this is my actual copy from 2001 from Barnes & Noble. It is torn to shit, so you know you can deal with it.
It's called Well Loved, Rob. Well loved.
Also, it was Borders or Barnes & Noble. I can't remember which one. Same difference.
It has to be Barnes & Noble. They were so bad about that.
But somewhere in here, we'll see it when we're doing it. They left the whatever, you know, that theft tag.
I was gonna say that.
The sticker is like covering the word balloons. To this day, I'm still pissed off about it. But this was $14.95, which, you know, in 2001 dollars may as well be $30. You know, wasn't that cheap. I was just I hadn't started. It was right before I went to college, so I still had some fun money. But I was immediately blown away by Meglia's art. This is how I came. I knew Meglia from the Cyber 6 cartoon, but I didn't really understand that he, you know, I couldn't buy his art anywhere, you know. And when he did this, I was like, oh my god, I remember telling my buddy Joe, who was manager at the comic shop that I bought all my stuff at, I was like, this is gonna blow up and he's gonna be amazing, and it went nowhere. So sad to say, I just want to say words by Mike Kennedy, arts by Carlos Meglia, colors by Dave Stewart for the first 4 issue, and Helen Bach did the 5th issue, but you wouldn't know, she basically works just like Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart from Hellboy, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that a question? Because Dave's a beast, bro. He's everywhere, but definitely best known for the Mignolaverse.
And I really like the colors. It has an animated flavor, but it's not overly glowy or anything, you know, like it's just pretty solid. Yeah. It's colorful.
He did a lot of really, really nice work for Bongo. Like,
he did the Bongo books?
He did a bunch of stories for Treehouse of Horror, dude. If you want to see some bonkers color rendering on like cartooning, oh my god.
All right.
Dude, the Treehouse of Horror is they did omnibuses of it finally. It's been out of print. They were like $20 an issue for years. They're just absolutely incredible. I did a doc about them.
Yeah. We'll have to cover those. We'll have to go page
by
page.
Yeah, they'd be super fun.
I just want you to know it's called Star Wars Underworld, the Yavin Vassilika. The Underworld moniker was really, anytime they put all the bounty hunters together, they were calling it Underworld. Just so you know, like on the Dark Horse end and stuff.
Because I did not know when I read this. I tried to look up Underworld like a million times, and then I was like, the Yavin Vassilika, and then
the short end of the story is that the gist of it is that there's these huts, Jabba and a few others, and they basically get duped into going on a treasure hunt, like a competition with one another to hire a bunch of people to go after a piece of treasure called the Yavin Vassilika, and that piece of treasure ends up holding a key, spoilers, a key that allows the rebellion to have access to the Masasi temples on Yavin, where they can put the rebel, you know, where the rebel stronghold is, the rebel base, which was just this week on Andor season 2, you know, if you want to see that. None of that shit was canon then. It's not canon now. It's more like just one of those clever things in comics where they try to link a bunch of things together, but it kind of didn't need to happen that way, but it was fun. I'll say this, though. This book is a sequel to the book series, the Han Solo trilogy, written by A.C. Crispin, which came around 97, 98-ish, around there, if I remember. I can't remember. Maybe 2099. I can't remember, but it came around there. Sorry?
Is that where they introduced the chick that, like, because they, like, make references to this, like, his old fling in here,
yes,
like, a bunch of times now. I did.
He has this girlfriend named Bria, and Drew Struzan did the covers to these books, all 3 of them, right? And on the 3rd one, he illustrates her basically as Karen Allen. for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, wow.
So when you read it, it covers when he was a kid, goes through the Empire, how he met Chewie, Lando, gets the Falcon, gets in trouble with the Hutts. And the idea was that he lost the spice to basically Bria, who gave it to the rebellion, and that funded the rebellion. Right? Like, it's one of those things where we, you know, like, we don't really need Han Solo inadvertently funding the rebellion, but that's how books worked at the time, right? So, but still, it was a respectable story. If you weren't happy with Solo, you'd probably get more mileage out of that one. I personally thought the Solo movie should have just been just called Smuggler's Run, and it should have been Smokey and the Bandit in space, but, you know, or, you know, it's a mad, mad world, you know, in space. But whatever. So this is a sequel to that. Now, nowhere in this book does it tell you should go read this other fucking book.
Man, there's one time where I was like, give me those Marvel, hey, remember when?
Right. And also, at nowhere in this book does it explain the bounty hunters that they're talking to, or why they're important, or why they would look them up, and what each one can do. It just assumes, this book should just be called Star Wars Insider Baseball, and it just assumes that you've been playing the role-playing games, and you know what I mean, you know all the characters stuff, because it's not gonna tell you what it, other than it says Tatooine, it's not telling you shit. Like, it's hilarious. But here's Meglia drawing Jabba and 2 other Hutts, and it's got the holographic,
and it's super cool because I like each of the Hutts has like a totally different tactic. Like, Jabba is all like about intimidation, and like one of them is all about honesty, and he brings that like really across. The most Hutts that I see look just way too similar, and I liked how they had like distinct personalities in this.
Well, I also like that he's able to get them all down in a single shape. You know, like this. Look at this little croissant, like as a yin yang kind of thing. You know,
that's exactly what he is. Yeah, croissant. Yep.
Yeah. And when I've seen, you know, we've had 20 years of these Clone Wars cartoons and Lucasfilm animation, and it has its fans. I've never liked any of it. You know, the only thing in animation they've ever done I liked was the Genndy stuff, you know?
Oh, thank you, Jesus, for saying that. I was like, don't let us have a fight, like fist fight.
No, I love the Genndy stuff, dude. So for me, it goes this, and then Genndy comes out like 2 years later. You know what I mean? Like, 2 or 4 years later or whatever. But I was like, why didn't they just do something with this, you know? But, I mean, Meglia here, he's just able to put so much into each panel, dude, and it's clear, but there's so much going on. Like, even when these Hutts are reading, there's little dudes back here, you know, there's a holographic table with little hollow monsters fighting, like in, you know, the Millennium Falcon.
I always loved that idea. Yeah. I still want my stop motion hollow games, damn it. Somebody clone Harryhausen and make it happen.
This is the chick who basically tricks him. She's working for the Rebel Alliance to get this thing, and she gets herself into Jabba's den being a servant, and her name's Jazzel. And I was like, none of this had to happen. Let me explain to you something. Like, I mean, obviously, they probably never got permission for this, but if you remember when The Phantom Menace came out, there was supposed to be this big deal about a character called Aura Singh, who is this blonde bounty, and she's supposed to be the new Boba Fett. She's got one cameo in The Phantom Menace, never fucking went nowhere. No one did nothing. She looks like Aura Singh. Like, other than this tattoo on her eye and the coloration, that's her. So I was always like, why didn't Aura Singh just show up, you know what I mean, with this like map and sell it to them or something, and then pitch this whole bit. And then the Hutts could have been sitting here and with cards laying out which bounty hunters they're going to pick and why, you know? They could have used this Hutt discussion, and I'm going to go with this one, Han Solo, and I'm going to go with these guys, and I'm going to pick this one, and we'll see which one goes. And she go, well, all right, you know, you keep track on it, blah, 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 blah. Like, it could have just been a little bit simpler. Because a lot of this kind of like machinations, these like, I don't know, this plot stuff, just, you get lost, you know? You get lost.
It does, because it's like their entourage kind of all like gets manipulated, and then they manipulate the Hutts into like going after the Yavin Vassilika as like a way of competition. I don't know. It was weird.
And by the way, Vassilika is not an easy thing to say. Just doesn't have the same thing like the Ark of the Covenant, you know? The Ark of the Covenant. 7 syllables. The Yavin Vassilika. See, that's what I think he was doing with syllable counts, but I can't.
Oh, okay.
The writer in me, I have written, folks. You know what I mean? Like, I just always go, I think he was doing syllable counts on this one. But you know what I love about Meglia here? Like, he's got all these huts, right? And then, but to keep them like focused, he'll do this little like this little and then put black back here, right? To draw you in. Clever little technique you can do, folks.
Using that traditional triangle, man.
And I love this
composition.
I love this too, where she's speaking to the huts, and then she gets an extra panel by just being a giant pinup pic. And then she's back here. And coloring, you know, coloring separates it.
Yeah, really well.
Yeah.
Stewart knocked it out of the park on this book, man.
Yeah, you know, for my money, drawing wise, I think it's my favorite thing he's done. You know, he's done things that are beautiful, like Canary, which we covered, but this is way more readable than Canary because he does so many giant backgrounds in Canary and small figure work. You know.
Yeah.
So, and then we get the little rat snoodles or whatever from the first movie, Star Wars. Look at that hand. That's a dope ass hand.
Those are just so expressive. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, this little like.
I love fucking. I grew up obsessed with Ditko and Bern Hogarth, though.
And then just some of these panels, dude. Like, I like this use of simple, like, this is just, you know, splatters in a glow pattern, you know, in Photoshop, but it works. And I like how he draws, like, he draws the goop, so the mouth is like, it's not cleanly open, right? It's always gooped, you know?
Yeah, it reminded me of cartoons when I was growing up. I was like, I love this.
But if you look, these lines around the goop are actually there. He just, Stewart color trapped them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it's not just like but it's coming out this dude's, it's coming out his nose. It's their snot that's coming up their nose. It's fucking disgusting. It's so good. And then, look at that little hut. He's like, I got my shit, dude. It's kind of Cartman, little Cartman-y right there. And I mean, look how much stuff he puts just in this one panel. It's got the hookah, right? It's got Snoot. It's got her. Bib Fortuna's back here for some fucking reason. Well, I mean, he's there because he's Bib Fortuna. There's aliens back here, and it's got the hollow thing, and it's all on the page, man. You know how hard that is?
I friggin' do.
Yeah,
I do, man. And I love the silhouette in the back there.
Yeah, how he carves this out and just drops that in black and then puts a little projected shadow back here.
Yep.
Yeah, super smart.
That's a lot of depth.
Here he starts doing these framings with, he'll use like junk, Star Wars junk and ships to cut really interesting frames and foreshortening. And like, this is just awesome. And what's great is he's hand drawing all these ships. It's not traced over photos, you know?
God, it's hard to get away with that. You have to be so good at drawing this shit.
And he's really good at drawing the Star Wars junk, you know?
He really is, man.
Yeah.
Like, not getting corrections and that being a pain in the neck is crazy.
Yeah. If I only had one complaint, we'll get to it, is I just don't like Chewie with the gums. That's probably it. But look how, like, he uses this underside of the Falcon as a silhouette with the tubes, you know? And then he cuts Solo. Now, Solo doesn't look a damn thing like Harrison Ford, but he looks like the character of Han Solo. And I just thought this was so necessary at the time, because I really felt at the time, and I have since then, that adhering to actors' likenesses is limiting the storytelling in these books. Right? Because just like how Drew Struzan always had to work from pre-approved photos, publicity photos, because the minute they start emoting, they don't look like the actor, even though it's the person. That's just, you know, how it goes. So, you know, you come up with the stylized version of the character that's clearly the character, you know, but they're able to emote, you know, they're able to scratch their heads, do, you know, but this throws off. Anytime I talk to Star Wars fans, they go, "This is not Harrison Ford," you know. You just can't get around with some of these people with that.
I love how hairy his hands are in this dude.
Oh yeah, he's got all the Meglia hairs right on his
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
I swipe those. I put those on my art all the time. Look at this shot. Like this is one panel just to underneath here.
I just the perspective on that is so God.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I
good,
learned a lot
man.
from this, like how to like
God.
place these foreground objects, you know, all up in here like that.
And it's like so simple,
right?
But like, I don't know, man.
Deceptively simple.
Dude was dude was a genius, man. I know it looks easy, and you're like, yeah, that's the 10,000 hours.
Yeah, it's not. Remember, he'd have been drawing professionally for 20 years at this point.
That's what I'm saying. That's the 10,000 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like that's of course it looks easy, and it's like those silhouettes again, man. He's just
yeah. Here we cut to Narshada, and so you got this alien. And he draws all these random aliens excellently, like the way you kind of discover them in a classic Star Wars film. It's got this little hot chick alien. I don't know what the fuck that is, and like these little Rick and Morty bastards back here, little Muppet looking dude back here, and then he's got this waitress, right? But look what he does. He curves the projected shadow to show it's a curved.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do that.
No, that's what I was talking about. It's that silhouettes again, man. I don't.
He just like this was like he got it, you know? Like I was like, this fucking dude gets Star Wars. Look at this elephant-looking motherfucker, Lando. This is Lando, and again, it doesn't look anything like. I mean, it looks like Billy D. Williams, but it's an animated version.
Feels like Billy D. Williams. This doesn't have to like look, you know. It just feels like him.
His version of Lando is when I see Sean Galloway's stuff, you know, because Sean would do like the pupils, the dots for eyes, you know, and the simpler faces with the simpler nose. You know, he wouldn't put a lot of detail in the faces. He'd go for the expression. His Lando was very I mean, they all had to have seen this. I mean, I know I've had a few guys like Reggie, John Somervilla is a brilliant illustrator. You know, he reached out to me when we covered Carlos and said, have you seen the Star Wars stuff? I'm like, have I? Like, so, you know, Meglia fans, we all have like a secret, you know, like we know. Look, this is one panel. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panel page. Look at this. Dude, we weren't getting this. See, this is the thing. He drew that issue of like Wildcats and no Wildcats in it. But could you imagine if he actually was able to like draw, you know, mutants and creatures and Spawn and all that? You know what I mean? This guy could have done it all, you know, like.
I don't know. I want an X-Men Unlimited issue of this guy at least. I don't know how he didn't get one. Makes me
especially
sad.
at the time, right?
That's like, what I'm saying, man. Like on the, you know, Joe Matt and Chris Bacalo.
But Carrie Andrews, Scotty Young, Josh Middleton. I mean, I always point people to X-Men Unlimited 37. It's the one with like the 100 Wolverines on the cover that Carrie Andrews did. Yeah. And inside it has artwork by. It's like a seminal issue for the early 2000s. At the time, I was like, I remember telling my buddy, the same guy at the comic shop, this issue, remember this issue? Because it had Carrie Andrews, Josh Middleton, Scotty Young, Mike Kunkel from Hero Bear.
What the hell?
All in the same issue, dude. All in the same issue. Only person missing is Carlos Meglia, you know?
God, I really got to do a deep dive. I've been meaning to go back and I'd never pick up series anymore, but there's no omnibus of Unlimited or anything, so I got to get that series.
And then Pearson was on it for like 2 issues later.
Yeah. I was gonna say he did Executioner, and
look at like the way he just draws like Lando going down the steps, and you get this dynamic, you know, like there's plenty of space here, you know, but this is blacked in, and then look how dynamic you weren't getting these high angle down shots in Star Wars comics, guys.
No, and like Stewart is really selling this, dude. The wall is so like it's perfectly rock-like and textured, but so it accentuates the tiny.
And it's hand colored. It isn't like a photo.
No, no, that's so Stewart.
He was using some of those like first like experimental Photoshop brushes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like when it was going beyond, or using Painter. Maybe you use Painter, but I don't know. Like I'm gonna say Photoshop, but yeah, you know, and it might be
hard to make that stuff look good.
Yeah, I mean, he made it work, but even like look at this panel where you get to see him pull. You get a script, and you're like, we see him pull out the gun, and they're looking at him like. Not an easy panel to draw, guys. And then we got to zoom in and look these Muppety looking motherfuckers. He's like, I don't know,
just
man.
cannot help mugging it up, dude. He's like, rando aliens everywhere.
He's able to give the aliens the Jim Henson treatment.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
okay.
which is missing from every other Star Wars comic. Even some of my favorite. The only one who got close was Hideo Tamaki, the guy who did Star Wars manga, A New Hope.
Yeah.
So he's able to draw aliens in that same kind of way. That's it, man. My other favorite Star Wars artist is Oliver Vatine, and his is good, but not at this kind of Henson-y level, you know. So
yeah, I got to admit, I got more into the story for these Dark Horse books when I got into the Star Wars stuff than the art.
But here you get the art. Now the story is not bad; it's just overly complicated.
And it is, dude. No, I, you know, like you. I'm glad you can say that as like a Star Wars guy, but like me coming in and like wanting to access this, I had no
clue. It doesn't explain to you who.
Dude, pre-internet, how the fuck were they expecting you to understand what was going on in this book?
No chance. No chance.
I was so like, what the shit? Yeah. Masasi's and
the temples are Masasi. Well, I say there's a reason why there's a trick to get into the temples is because you'd find out in another series of novels that Kevin J. Anderson wrote called the Jedi Academy series or whatever, that the temples were like haunted by evil spirits and shit like that. You know,
from the Sith, it's this dude, like this Sith Lord Kun, I think, because he kills all the Masasi to become a ghost. Now I know this because I had to look all of this shit.
I just read it back in the 90s and haven't bothered with it since. But so like, but I love how he does these walk around where it's here and then they curve and they come. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, dude, it's absolutely again. It's his perspective and composition. That's the thing. Because like Meglia sometimes like is a little bit too cartoony for me. Like I would prefer a couple more lines, but his perspectives and his compositions on panels are what continuously, it does not matter how minimalistic he gets. I'm sold. I'm like, yeah, no, you know what you're doing. I'm just going to shut up and enjoy the ride.
I feel for my money, this is as good as any of the Bruce Timm Batman stuff. And in many ways rivals it. Like, because he's able to put a lot of hand-drawn details. Whereas when you read like the Timm Batman stuff, the buildings are way more simplified. The universe is way more simpler. You know, it's just boxes. Timm isn't drawing the pipes and the used universe that Star Wars, that we know as, you know, Star Wars to be.
Yeah.
So.
And that would be the other thing is he knows where to throw in the details and he is capable of doing, you know, and it's like Canary we were talking about, you know, I mean, obviously he can do the backgrounds and the details. It's just this work didn't call for it and he knew better. So, but
they don't explain who Bosk and Dengar and IG-88 are. They just accept that you know this stuff. Good job on using the box font, like a box for IG-88 for the droid. Right?
I missed that.
Yeah, good job. You know, you could see. This is my favorite version. I mean, he made Dengar look cool. Fucking Dengar sucks, dude. Like, Dengar's
stupid.
Horrible. It's fucking dumb.
What? Man. You're like one of the most badass bounty. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
We ran out of costume budget.
I know. Yeah, there was an ethnic slur popular at the time that my friend used to call him that I was like, I don't like that, but I get it. Know what he's wearing, right? Like, yeah, I don't approve of it, but that Dengar was often referred to that. This panel, look at this, where she's talking to them from this like what do you call land, the deck, whatever they call that, you know, the entrance to a ship. Like this is what I'm talking. You're not getting any Star Wars book doing this. None.
You're not getting many books doing that.
And like, look how he just frames the shadow, so she's even being projected down here, so he's calculated that, you know, but he's using this to frame these guys up here.
I love like how Dengar is like totally and the other cat, the yellow cat, Bosk, thank you. Yeah, I love his like defensive posture, like the slight tilt to his, you know, body. Like everything is like super subtle, but again, it's that composition. He throws that huge spot black in. And I miss
folks, if you zoom in,
blacks.
if you zoom in, he's got all the details on the fucking belts and shit too.
Oh
Man.
yeah. Oh, it's there. It's there. But it's like he's got this massive black spot. And like most people, especially like, you know, coming out of the 90s, were avoiding that stuff. And I miss that stuff.
Even here, like this pipe is projecting as a spot. And it's you know,
it's,
like how cool is
so
that?
Awesome. And like look how good Dave does that. I mean,
oh yeah, the coloring
that magenta there just makes it it's like, look at how brilliant this is. And you're like, yeah, oh man. Him and Steve Oliff, I'm sorry, I will endlessly gush on him throughout.
Yeah, well, Ian McKay got this time too. It just done the Joker Mask book, you know.
Yeah, okay,
that's right up there. But like, just all right. So, but look how he uses this exterior as the backdrop for. So it's a half page, right? And he's curved this around. The horizon line is angled. It's curving. I do this all the time. This is where I learned the curvilinear trick, right? Where you bend perspective. Right?
I always wondered about that, dude.
Yeah, this is where I got it from, was this specific page in 2001. Wow. I sat there. I was doing security, right? And at the time for my dad. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, I got tracing paper and just like sat there with a pen.
I wondered how, like, how did you even figure out the perspective on that?
Because I had perspective kind of down by now, but curving, this was the first time I ever saw it bent like this, you know, in one frame, one comic panel, you know. And by the way, he's doing something extra. If you pay attention, there's this rock here. This rock is going in the opposite direction curvilinearly. So this is going this way, and this rock is going this way. So there's actually this yin yang going on.
Yeah.
And then here, just the foreshortening. The foreshortening, dude, and how they pop out the panel.
I was gonna say IG-88 going into that panel is just like one of the. I mean, Bosk, you know, is kind of in there, but IG-88, that like it's just sells that shit.
And this next page here is when we get our first taste of Jawas, and these Jawas are so good, man. Like
Rob loves Meglia's Jawas so much.
Yeah, he nailed it. But look at this character's called Zuckus, who's like a robot. Right? Was it 4-Alarm or is it Zuckus or 4-Alarm? I can't remember. But it's a bunch of these stupid like robot, because it's all in 4-Alarm and Zuckus are in here. And like they're droids, but they don't really tell you that in here, you know? So like they're all speaking in a way or doing calculations and stuff like that. So if you know that, then you would understand. But look at he's keeping the tubes, you know, and the pipes. And he's doing like expressive hand animations or poses, you know?
I was gonna say, I like how he resisted cartooning the eyes a lot on them, considering they are like a mask. I thought it was a mask. I didn't know they were droids.
But even there, look, he gives them eyebrows, right?
Yeah, no, you can tell he's resisting. He's pulling back, and he's using the hands as the expressiveness rather than like doing the like, I don't know. I love Humberto Ramos. But like sometimes like later, and Chris Bacalo got really bad about it later on with Spider-Man, like doing the closed eyes. I'm like,
I like it because look, they found a way to do it in live action too. It's awesome. But that was my argument in the 90s. I'd always see these editors go, his eyes would never move like that. The mask doesn't work that way. It would never work in real life. And now it works that way in all the movies in real life.
Oh yeah, no, that was never.
Fans have made the costumes that animate the eyes. It's hilarious. So
I was gonna say, I would never say it wouldn't work in real life. I don't care. We're talking about a guy who's crawling on walls, running around in spandex.
But compositionally, this background extends all the way back. So you get the foliage all behind this panel. So it's doing like this here, but it's here. And now he's shifting the other speaking panels down, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's brilliant. You know?
I love the Jawa.
Yeah.
Like hiding. It gives it like a lot of, I don't know. He knows when to spice in those details.
And then like, let me zoom in on these Jawas really quick. Check this out. Look at this secondary shit, dude. These Jawas are looking at the papers.
Invader Jawas.
This is right before Zim, right? So
yeah.
But we get our first taste of Greedo, who's great. Kind of Jar Jar like with the way he draws the snoot a little bit. But I mean, look at this alone, dude. I mean, this is a cantina, you know? He's
the
got
coloring is so dope on that panel.
This could be really tragically colored, right?
Yes, it could, man. Like just destroyed.
The level of soft rendering on the rock walls with the hard edge cell kind of shading.
And like he really goes the extra mile with the waitress in the corner there. Like adding like really nice colors that accent the wall and then transition into the woman who's walking and then lead you into those brighter colors with green. It's so goddamn brilliant.
And he's designing the mugs too. You know? They're alien mugs, you know? They're not just
They look like, you know, taken off a set of Star Wars. They do. Yeah. Everything Meglia is adding in the background. And it messes my head up. Like, how do you remove so much stuff, but you know every little detail to add?
Like, show me another comic where Greedo's shaking an alien. When you do the photo ref stuff, they're not really moving. It's just poses, you know?
Oh yeah.
Look at this. Yeah. Look at this panel. Look at this. Look at all these. Look at all these fucking dudes. This space guy here. He's like in the monster world, you know, spacesuit. Here's this fucking. What is this stupid? It's got like a pasta snout. You know, like there's some hunk back there. You know, this is the Wilford Brimley of aliens, right? Pepperidge Farms remembers diabetes, right? Like there's a tentacle dude here who's carrying this is like Sergio Aragonés on steroids, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I can
and it's just one panel. People just look like, oh yeah, I see it, and they move on. I'm like, no. Like, you have to understand, I'm reading this and my mind is being blown. All right? There's no comic like this.
Look at that Chewie. No, there's no comic.
Yeah, no, like Chewie. I know Chewie's a little on the thin side. Chewie's not my favorite. It's interesting shapes, but I do think, you know, it's a little. His Chewie's a little. Could be a little bit more, you know.
He looks like an anorexic Bigfoot there, but like I love those shapes so much. I don't give a shit.
Right, they're great shapes. The problem is when he opens his mouth and he's got like 90% gums and 2% teeth. That I'm not a fan of. But hey, if in a book like this, if one thing doesn't work for you, that to me is pretty, you know.
What happened to Chewbacca?
Look at this pose though. He's got the hand on the buckle. Classic. I mean, it may as well be Mal from Firefly too, right? Like,
okay, yeah, definitely, yeah. Actually, that, yes, right. Glass shattering moment there. Yes.
I wish Meglia had drawn some Firefly comics, dude. And then we're right back to here, where he just puts all these aliens, this little like kid, whatever the fuck these things are. Chewbacca's like, "Don't touch me."
Gross.
This has to be an inside joke, this guy here, because he's too normal. I'm like, that has to be like a buddy of his or something. And then we get to Jabba's basically getting his backside taken care of by Ula, or he's one of his chicks, right? But we get his Boba Fett reveal, which to me is the greatest cartoony Boba Fett of all time. I mean, look at this. Pouches, right? Tubes. He's got everything. He's got all the shit. He's got
and hyped up on steroids.
And Stewart scraped the metal.
Oh, dude, I know. That's what I was just getting ready to say. But like, I think the thing that's like the best about this is just Dave Stewart knew those panels and those shots where he was like, go above, go beyond, really hit this. And like, this is one of those shots, and it really does Meglia justice, which is not something you can say a lot of colorists were doing around this time, because it was not easy.
You were getting scraped.
I was trying to be polite.
You were getting scraped metal in the Iron Man comics or Wildcats, or you know what I mean? Like, it's a simple thing, but you weren't getting that, you know?
No.
So, and then now we got another one of these great little compositional exterior shots, you know? Just with all this junk and tubes. Just
did Meglia do any like storyboarding or anything?
Hanna-Barbera, dude. Yeah, we covered that on his. He worked.
No, I meant like for
yeah,
film,
but but it was layout work. It was all layout work and stuff. But did he do?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering about like actual like his, because this is.
Well, that'd be good to know. Does people know
to be shot?
He may as well have, because remember he hand painted those backgrounds on Canary in acrylic. So I have no doubt that he at some point did some kind of, maybe because he was with Disney for a while, maybe he did some background layouts there we don't know about, like fully painted. You know who his Chewbacca reminds me of? Teenage Groot, like in Guardians 3.
Oh my, yes.
Right?
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Very much.
Right.
Wow. Oh wow, yeah.
One could almost say
God damn,
you were conspiratorial about it. You know.
That's crazy, dude.
Star-Lord and Groot, right?
Dude.
Meglia does this thing too, right? And I put this on the cover to Spawn Kills Every Spawn issue 3, where he doesn't draw the feet, he just has them go into the ground. Like, they actually don't even make sense. Like, the feet kind of go into it. He just draws the lines and they stop. And it's just something he does. There's no real reason for it. But I did that on the cover, the X-Force cover. I just had the foot disappear into the floor as a nod, you know. So here we got, folks, we're not even halfway through. This is gonna be a while. Like, you know, like, it's just, we never got anything. There is a smaller short story he did with Lando, which I think I'll dig up. I have a digital copy of it. We'll have to look at that sometime, but it's not that many pages, you know. But here, spot blacks are excellent on all these, like,
dude, he knows how to throw them in. Look on that far panel with Chewie and Han, like the spot blacks, and like, but he still has the dust kicking up paint. Like, right, again, Stewart really knowing like what to extenuate and like how to work that. But I mean, that's fucking
you're seeing it, but I want people to know that's
is.
Chewie and Han right there, and he's used this arc of this rock to carve out a black to pop them forward.
And that's Hanna-Barbera right there. That is Hanna-Barbera. But that shot before that I was talking about, like, that could have been for a major budget film. Like, this guy is just, his composition, I'm gonna keep saying it. I gotta find some other words to say.
Yeah, but it is because look here, he's doing this thing where the ship's inside the hangar, right? There's these blast doors this way, but then there's these extra blast door exterior doors here. He didn't have to do that.
No.
But that's Star Wars. Like, that Star Wars has that extra level of stuff, you know?
You can tell when a dude loves what he's drawing, and this is a love letter. You know 100%. What I mean?
Here's what I mean, where he does the ankles going.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right, dude. Yeah. That's so weird. What?
It's just a stylistic thing he does, but yeah. Anytime I'll rip that off all the time. Like, but even this silhouette here, you know.
Again, those blacks.
Yeah.
Nobody besides Mignola was doing it around this time, dude. They were scared of those spot blacks. Bro.
And he didn't really do it like this again in. Wait, so yeah, he doesn't do this kind of spot blacks again like this in Western comics.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about this series, so I can't imagine it like blew up for him.
I mean, there's some digital planets here that Stewart's thrown in, right? But they don't get in the way, you know? They're soft.
They don't get, needless, but meh.
Now, this is a thing that he starts doing here that he ended up doing on Monster World. It's these, like, when they're in cockpits, they do this extreme perspective for the dashboard where they sit back and they go way out like this, curvilinear style.
Man, again, that coloring is just selling that so hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It doesn't get in the way.
No, yeah, but it's brilliant. That uplighting, yeah, dude. I mean, like, that's a mastery of being able to tell you where the light source is coming from, but still showing you that crazy warped perspective.
Now look at this. Look at this fucking thing. They're up here. Zuckuss and Forlom are up here. Coming down here with Snoot or whatever. Down here's all these fucking people in this village, but he's using this rickety shit. There's people up here, man. You know?
Oh, I know.
Throwing all the spot blacks, but this feels like a Star Wars camp. right?
I was gonna say, and it's brilliant because he uses the black to lead you to those characters up top, and then he leads you with that black down into the bottom of this like huge bazaar that's going on, and that
The
brings you. It's just like,
shadows are slotted the way these.
oh yeah,
the shadows on
dude,
them.
it's fucking magnificence, man. This is truly like what happens when a colorist and an artist work in tandem, essentially perfectly.
Yeah, and people, I don't know if you can tell here, but these lines back here are airbrushed over or trapped over. You know what I mean? They're not.
Yes.
They're not black,
yeah, absolutely.
black, which was not a thing being done in comics at this time, too much. No,
at least not in U.S. comics.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It's always been more of a European thing, but it sells the depth there, and it lets you read the detail way better. So
this is something I saw Meglia starts doing around now. I'm sure he did it on Cyber 6. I'm unfamiliar with every issue, but I'm certain he was doing it there. But here, so he'll have this big panel, right? And it's got multiple characters talking, the same characters. Okay, they're kind of going through this crowd, but then he'll also add a secondary frame.
Yeah.
So it's like frames within frames.
It's like a play on the DeLuca or something. That's crazy. Because they're like moving through the. Man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen anybody else do that.
It's his thing, dude. You know what I mean? It's something he does for certain.
Weird. God, that's hard. That's hard to do.
And this is pretty much more the same. So let's see here. I mean, look at that. This rickety.
Oh, dude, the wood on that last page is incredible, and
with all the little ropes,
the designs. Yeah, I don't. How the hell do you keep all that straight, man?
Bro, it's as cleanly drawn as you see here. I've seen his stuff, like it.
I don't care. I'm just saying, like, it's awesome to do that justice, to keep it straight, and I don't know, man. This is really because I'm not a Star Wars guy, dude. And the story was like fun enough or whatever, but this is next.
This low angle, the wood is curved. It's spot black hair pops this little dude out here.
Yeah,
they're up here, so it's a low angle. Look, drawing Dengar is low angle looking up is hard enough, right? But the coloring is spot on. I mean, fucking these fucking guys, dude. And then Stewart does this bright thing where he's got this pastels, blue and brown, and then all this stuff's in blue shadow, teal shadow,
But I love how he still is hand painting the rock so that it doesn't have it with the same complementary colors, but he's not like overshadowing her skin. It doesn't bleed in.
No, he's using the color to change her, versus.
Yeah, dude, it's
right. Yeah. That's color. That's just solid color theory. Very difficult to get editors to get on board with that because they think you're changing the color of the character.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yes, it is basic color theory, but find me guys that were doing that and allowed
to be fair, more would, but I'm just telling you, fans go, why is she blue now? What happened to her? What happened to her colors? They don't, it is a problem like all around. So
despite the fact that there's a plain panel at the very beginning of that showing you in the light what she looks like,
I know,
and then she's going into shadow and now blue because you can't see black.
But I love this little, like the way he does this cape here, just kind of jets out.
It's great.
And now we got Lando.
I love how his capes like have like a weird like stiffness to them. They're totally not the like McFarlane flippity floopity capes, but they've got like so much expressiveness.
There's an angularness to it for certain, but if you want to see some of the best simple, realistically drawn, let's say, but just animated. When we get to his Superman Infinite City,
Oh, I was gonna say Spawn kills every Spawn because those are my favorite I've ever seen. But go ahead.
All right. No, but I'm just saying, like he does it really good. This is the big feet stuff that I know Ed and Jim over at Cartoonist Kayfabe used to complain.
I love it. And they can kiss it.
Yeah.
I love his Jinko jeans and his Max feet. They're beautiful.
Look at him hugging. Look at him hugging the Falcon.
Dude, tell me that's not Chris Bacalo right there. Like that hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, when Bacalo, when Bacalo goes to on X-Men, right? After Generation, Age of Apocalypse, all that stuff, right?
Okay,
There's a part where he starts to go cartoony, and a lot of people say, "Oh, he was trying to do Joe Mad." I'm telling you right now,
it's Meglia.
I'm telling you right now, dude.
It has got to be Meglia. I had never heard of this cat before you pointed him out, man. And like, you know, I kind of Roland coined that term Hispanime, and I just really like the term because it encompasses the art really well. And like when I saw this stuff, I was like, oh my God, you can see Joe Mad here, and that's like a Chris Bacalo hand, and like, Jesus, dude. Because like, tell me that is not a Joe Mad Boba Fett strut right there.
Right.
That is like, are you kidding me? Is Scotty Young?
Oh yeah, Scotty Young definitely was on this.
Like holy shit, man. It's so brilliant, bro.
Yeah. And if you can't see it, but the subtle little like coloring is all like that dirty gray. There's like browns to mint greens and reds up on the wall. But look at just the way he covers with the cape.
I was gonna say, and this is like what makes me wonder, like his hands and a couple other things when I look at it, makes me wonder if he was like into Ditko really hard, because like that looks very Ditko strange to me. And like a couple
of this thing, you know?
And like the hands and the like, it's just, I don't know.
This shot to me is so Star Wars, where he's like in between the hardware, you know?
Oh, like, yeah.
Like this is something that you would see. It's a James Cameron kind of shot too, you know?
That's like, again, exactly what I'm talking about, because this is like a perfect setup for an actual storyboard shot in a film. That is what you'd see in a major block, but you should see. You don't, but you should. Nice inventive shots like this. God forbid you hire anybody with talent like this and then actually shoot the stuff.
His Slave One's a little chunky for me, but look at the way Bacalo was rendering his vehicles.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That reminds me of so many guys that were doing stuff at this time. Like Meglia obviously is like a missing, unspoken, massive part of that late 90s or into early aughts, you know, movement.
Right.
The big feet and the hands, like really shaped design. Because like that solo right there, where he's like leaning in, is so goddamn good. And look at that hand. It's an ape hand, bro.
He's like, what's
up? Like, it's as big as his head.
At some point, we're going to cover Superman Tarzan. And you're going to get to see him draw some apes.
Wait, dude. I can't wait.
Yeah. I love this Pulp Fiction shot, right? This is like that Pulp Fiction.
Oh, dude. Yeah, totally.
And then look, this giant close-up, right? That's got all the details, so you can see the guns. It's got the belt buckles. It's got the straps. It's got all the details and the accoutrements you'd have on like Star Wars shit. And then look, he's also it's an exterior shot right next to, you know,
using that spot black to split stuff. Yes, I know.
And transition is being done by the spot black.
Yeah, and like look at how well Stewart transitions with that color in the back and blends the brown to orange together. It's just beautiful, dude. It's again, this teamwork. Like, this is why Dave Stewart is the legend that he is, in my opinion.
100%.
This really good cartoony stuff where he can really lean into it. I can't wait to show you some of those Treehouse of Horror shorts, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to that.
I love how he did. I also love how he throws green into Chewie. For lighting. Like he uses that like green and blue as a way to like delineate.
Well, that's actually it's a neutral gray, but it's just because of the it's similar to that Greedo, you know.
Oh, okay. I'm just reading it like that. Okay, my bad.
Hey, man, color's relative, dude. You know what I'm saying? So you
I don't have the best eyes either.
Yeah, it's fine. But this is the gums I was telling you about. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay, yeah, no, that's bad.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I didn't. I was wondering what you were talking about, and I see.
It's more prominent as the issues go on. It's the only complaint I have.
Yeah, there's like a Sean Gordon Murphy face there too, dude. Like, friggin' crap, man. Everybody was looking at this cat.
And I'm telling you they were, whether they admit it or not. Like, I'm telling you they were. Dude.
Well, I doubt they would fight. I doubt they would.
Some hide their influences. You know that,
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. Never seen it before.
None of the guys that we've talked about, that I am aware of, are guilty of that, to be fair.
No. I've never had anyone online. I'm just saying that how do I say this? I've been at plenty of art jams with professional artists, and they, you know what I mean? Like, in my past,
that's like that. Yeah, that's a
nowadays.
Thing too,
nowadays, maybe not. You know what I mean? But I'm just
saying.
I
was gonna say that's kind of a different thing, man.
When you're going, I'm going to sketch jams at Shane Glein's house around this time, dude, up in Van Nuys.
Okay, so you're talking about like you're.
And dudes were super secretive at this time.
Yeah, because you're dick measuring at those. You really are.
Right.
But like the gorilla guy up here on the next page, dude. I'm hoping we get to, because that is just this sideburns coming out of the eye is fucking so.
We get more of that in the Tarzan stuff.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I hope we get more of that in the Tarzan.
This alien is showing him her junk, dude. Look, he's flashing her.
What
He's doing the Gremlins flash, dude. Wow. Oh, could you imagine if Meglia did a Gremlins book?
Wow. Dude, I want to see him do like an adaptation of Gremlins 2, so we can just have an excuse to do a billion different types of Gremlins. Like,
I just realized.
Gremlin do you want?
I just realized I was rewatching the Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch, right? Which my wife hadn't seen, where they're like pitching how they came up with all this crazy shit in Gremlins 2.
Oh yeah, yes,
and Jordan Peele, he's basically playing the script doctor, but he's playing it as the guy from Mannequin, the flamboyant black hairdresser dude from Mannequin. He's doing it in that kind of character, and they get to this one actress, and that's where they come up with the hot chick gremlin. And I'm like, oh, I know her. That's Heather Campbell. I worked with her at Play Magazine because she went into stand-up comedy. I ended up being on Whose Lines Is It Anyway, and she writes for Rick and Morty now. And she worked on Twilight Zone with Jordan. I just realized she's in the sketch, man. I was like, oh shit, that's Heather. Like
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. She's one of the best Street Fighter players I've ever seen, by the way, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, just went up a fucking notch in my book.
But like again, this I just felt should have been Aura's scene for those Star Wars nerds out there. Look at old Smoothie. Here you got a pose, and then he's got a close up where he's using her cape to give you this feeling of Lando's cape.
Oh, damn, dude! Because I thought that was his shoulder when I was looking at it. But then
she's designed it.
No. I know. When I'm looking at her, I thought it was her shoulder, and then when I'm looking at him, I'm seeing it as his shoulder. It was like those two images in one thing.
And he omits her body. He doesn't draw her body here, and he doesn't draw his body here.
Space, dude.
Look at that.
That's fucking what the shit.
Yeah.
What this is
shit, this is just like panel 4 or 5 on page 30 something. You know what I mean? But like, how clever is that?
Fuck, man! I want a million interviews with this dude. I need to know where this is coming.
We need a DeLorean to go back in time. Unfortunately, Carlos Meglia passed away in 2000.
I know, but they have to be out there. We got hit up by the edit. I'm going to bother him and see if I can find some. I want to do a dive on this dude.
I love this page where he's walking with her, and it's just these multiple. Now I'll say this: when you read this, when you go here, you have to jump here and read right. This is. I was gonna
say I don't like his use of the DeLuca effect sometimes.
No, this I like, but the lettering should have put a line, him, and then whatever he says should have led to this. So it just reads, but it jumps.
Oh yeah. That would have helped. That would have helped a lot. Yeah. I just felt that there should have been one more transition panel going from the right to the left side, because that's an unnatural movement for me. But those stairs.
Well, they probably they're facing front right here. They probably should have been turned. right?
That's okay. Yeah.
Like
okay.
walking,
That probably,
right?
yes.
Or she could have been like, okay, imagine two characters where she's like pointing at him, you know, like Mr. tapping his chest, and he's like, "What's up?" Right? He could be like, you know.
Yep.
And then you get the.
Then you get that.
Because this is very similar to this pose, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Shame on you, Meglia. But like,
you brilliant bastard. And look at that. Mobius is like, oh, hey, yeah, great job. Because damn, dude, those interiors are totally Star Wars. But like, look at the person. And Dave is just murdering it there.
Yeah.
His use of magenta and purple in this is just like blowing my mind.
It's what I still think of when I think of animated Star Wars. I mean, if these guys could have, you know, worked with those, like, not Will Ray, but it was, who's the other guy from Ren and Stimpy went on a Samurai Jack? Bill Stills. Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
He's like, it was Bill Ray and this other guy, Scott Wills. It was Scott Wills, dude.
That's it. Yes.
So
yes.
Scott Wills was like the one that Christopher Lucy said was just like an amazing renderer because he was perfect. He had no, like, very sharp, clean, you know. And if you look at Samurai Jack, those backgrounds, it's insane. And he ended up doing, Scott Wills did all the backgrounds, or majority of the backgrounds, if not all of them, on the Clone Wars cartoon stuff.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And so I'm telling, I could see Genndy and them opening this up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because look at this little dude. Look at this fucking guy, man. Look at this fucking dude.
I mean, he's great, but like me, that panel right above it with the two spot blacks leading into that orange,
That's a good storytelling.
It's just like, holy crap, dude. Nobody's dialing it back at this point to do that. Oh man, cool. And there we get more of your little panel inside of panels.
So Han Solo's running. We got this one being framed there, and then this one being, so you can see them. You know where to look.
Yeah.
And then here they're busting out the frame, right? So Chewbacca's got some good weight on. Greedo's back here. This Greedo easily could you imagine if Meglia had done like a Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Jar Jar thing? You know, as much as I hate Jar Jar, he could have probably made that work. You know.
I just want to see him do some like. I wish I had seen him do some like balls out, like maybe Darth Maul, like fucking just something where he could have had carnage.
Yeah.
I just want to see him create carnage on the page. Because this is like, if you look at those top two panels, that's like Simon Bisley level. You know, we just looked at body count, you know?
Thank you. I was saying there's these shootouts and body count. Link below, folks. But we're in 96, and this is very much of the same ilk, you know?
Not as busy. It's better done, as a massive Simon Bisley fan. This is better done. This is what body count probably should have looked like. But it is the same kind of like carnage, man. And look at how I love Boba is like totally badass coming down the stairs and just he's got that clenched fist and he's and then like bam, next shot he is totally off kilter. You can tell he's like thrown for a loop, you know.
Also, not for nothing, in this panel Bosk is in shadow, but here he's in color. Simple technique, right? But you know, got to keep that one in mind. And IG88 is cropping out the frame.
He's obfuscated with that beautiful black fucking spotting again, and the whole gun is hidden, like
right.
But I love that, and the other thing that I love, and it's like because we were talking about Hanna-Barbera too, is like the Scooby-Doo shadows that he does. So you got the like Han and Chewie and like Greedo,
right here. Look at this,
like Scooby-Doo, and you know, like bent shadows, and then these like really
he's getting smart. This is smart. He's using the shadow of Solo to block having to draw all this fucking Chewbacca shit.
Yeah.
So he's got the Chewie head, but he doesn't have to draw all this fucking shit, you know?
And so you concentrate on all the villains who are like dropping the heavy fire and getting the ambush. Your eye is drawn there. It's freaking brilliant, man.
Here's something I thought was kind of funny. Look, it's Churrascaro. Fucking Sin City IG88.
That is so crazy, dude.
Yeah. And then if you see here, Boba's underneath the wreck, you know?
I just want, man, I really want to see him do a Boba Fett series too.
Oh, believe me, we all did. This is the Boba Fett was the star of this whole series. His Boba Fett art, you know. And this is a great run panel.
Like, look at his feet. I love Chewie's feet there, dude. What is even fucking happening? I don't know, but I love it. Also,
smart move. Chewbacca goes behind. Greedo runs, but it also gives you the sense that Chewbacca is running.
The through line?
Because it's the same leg, right?
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. I don't. How do you even begin to mesh? Because you've got those beautiful Hanna-Barbera, the bent silhouettes in the background.
They're straight and curving around the backgrounds.
Here. Yeah, man. I mean, like, how do you
in a circle like this?
How do you begin to like mesh all of this stuff?
It's just how he sees things. It's just
I know, but like, you know what I said? How does that?
Well, at some point, I told you do find how you think, you know. And that's when you discover if you have a real career or not. Because the minute you start drawing how you think, you alienate 50%. You know, once I started drawing how I think, believe me, I lost a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally, no. I mean, I just don't understand how you could successfully amalgamate all this stuff in your head. Like, it is a bizarre concoction, and it works so well.
This is that low to the ground cockpit shot I was telling you about?
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I think Stewart could have sold that a little bit more with the lighting. Surprises me he didn't, actually.
I get the sense more dialogue was supposed to be here, and it was simplified.
I'm wondering, because it looks like the far right side and bottom left side of that panel looks like it was intended to have more dialogue in it.
Still, though, the dynamics of it add a sense of energy.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful perspective, if nothing else right there. But Stewart could have sold the lighting on that way better.
This one's pretty good, too.
See, that's what I'm talking about with the underlighting and stuff. I'm surprised he didn't rock anything like that. That's hands, man. Like, the blue and then the yellow and then Chewie's backlit against totally different computers.
And he's completely ignored. He's completely ignored how the Falcon's actually built to make it better. Because like the cockpit doesn't actually work like this.
yeah, it's got those lever things.
Yeah, and not good to draw in perspective. And
look at how freaking detailed that Millennium Falcon is right beneath that, like from the far shot. That is so damn detailed and so damn freehand at the same time.
It's the opposite of like what Daniel Warren Johnson and them are doing with brush stuff, where this is more like mechanical pencil in a way, you know? I mean, it's 2H pencil. He wasn't doing mechanical. But it's very specific, you know? I'm not saying one's better than the other, but it is the opposite, you know?
No, I'm saying, I hadn't really thought of it, but yeah.
This one is dope too because it's through the cockpit window, so he's got some of that. Right. And here you get your spot blacks, right? So
yeah. I was gonna say, dude, his like just him blending into the background there.
But remember, the planet is continuing behind the page, dude.
Dang.
Small little bit, but a lot of guys wouldn't have done that, right? They would have just thrown it all to black and done black back here and just had this little bit, you know?
I'm wondering, like, that's all color. I'm wondering if that was Meglia or like him and Stewart added so much to this, dude. That's crazy.
I like this energy bit. I mean, he draws a lot of the little bursts and little stuff, like little coming off the radar dish.
I love that. I love his movement.
Now, Dark Knight Returns. Am I right?
Yeah, that is. I want to see this right next to the Bat Cannon panel.
Dark Knight Returns.
If he was pushing a lever forward, it would be.
He is right here.
Oh, has he got the lever?
Yeah, he's got his hand on his lever. Yeah,
he does.
It's a Dark Knight Returns, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boba Fett's ship isn't built like this on the interior.
At all.
Like he's usually right up on the window, man. So no, he's just Dark Knight Returns in it. Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Everybody loved that book.
This is something I love to do. I picked this one up from him, where you can just have water, bubbles, and the exterior pop over through the panel, and then you got spot blacks down here, and he's just composing the,
the way that bleeds into the bottom there too, man. What ballsy use of heavy blacks.
Yeah.
It is really ballsy, man. Works beautifully, but like, man, and he just did a Miller homage. I was like, where is he getting these like such heavy spot? And I'm like, oh fuck, he's doing Frank Miller. Oh damn, okay.
Yeah. And
cool.
Let me see if you can tell, like, here's the other side of the ship. It's actually continuous CDs.
Yeah, no, you can see it going all through this. So
yeah. Now we get into, like, again, just the DeLuca effect where they're walking.
Now, see, this one's really well done.
Yeah,
like,
the Falcon's back here.
Yeah.
Right? And they're on this girder above, and then they're having close-up conversations. And then exterior DeLuca.
Yeah, and using Greedo as the like the leading point and showing the like changes in the conversation and emotions that are going through there is freaking great, man. And
this panel too, like this is like that classic, Star Wars Cantina again. It's like
I do not envy having.
Look at these fucking little fish, man. Such a Disney thing to do right there.
That is totally a Disney thing to do. Looks like a cracked out Sebastian there.
He just draws all these little dudes. And you're looking down. He curves them walking towards you up. Like they're going above them somehow, like through stairs or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody would frame a panel like that in comics at this time. Maybe even now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see it. That's so crazy detailed. Oh, there it is. Fuck you, Barnes and Noble.
Oh, this is it right here. This is the
Yep, there it is. Fuck you, Barnes and Noble.
I saved this fucking thing. This is it.
I remember yanking those out of my books.
This is what they put right on the fucking text.
And what's really bad is I got so good with a hairdryer, I could take those off without messing up a book after a while.
Yeah.
It's
been on there 20-something years. Good luck with that one.
Oh, no, I could get it off there. I could do it. I am magic. I've got the magic fingers, Rob. I fix.
Get another great exterior, top-down shot. Right.
But look at the rendering on that. It's like, I mean, Meglia is murdering that panel. Do not get me twisted by any sense. But, like, dude.
Well, we just went through, like, a bunch of comics where we were shitting on the digital coloring at the time. But here's when I thought it was becoming more acceptable. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were getting.
It's not even just acceptable. There were guys who were like really putting in the work and were finally getting just a modicum of ability to translate that onto the page.
And what I said, Photoshop was finally coming out with brushes that had different textures and stuff, which
I'm sorry, I interrupted you like a prick. Yeah.
They weren't just doing like lasso tool cuts and grads. Here you could actually paint, with softer pastel brushes and stuff like that.
Yeah. And a lot more of those holding lines and stuff. And oh man, it's just world of difference but then again, this is Dave Stewart too, and it's just like, I think that shows. I just can't speak highly enough of the guy.
This is like the Comic-Con where you go from Comic-Con with the steps down, steps up. And then he just jumps to like a floating Lando head. He does that a lot where he just jumps to floating heads, but I like it. And then,
I like his use of floating heads as panel breakers a lot of times.
Yeah, I think it works. Here, he does that. Look, he shows you where the Jawa is.
Oh, yep. Yep.
We got these Jawas.
I should say.
Just a Jawa getting at it with Boba Fett. Totally Looney Tunes, right?
I love how he's like they've kind of got like an Orko feel to me too.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Orkos.
Orcos.
I can't help it.
This panel is the one that blew my mind too. So they're walking down the street. So you imagine the script says, yeah, they're walking down the street and they see like the city's bustling, blah, blah, blah. He draws it so that there's silhouettes looking down into a city.
I know. And like, I don't know where he's pulling that from. Like, where did that perspective come from? Because that's the thing that I keep wondering about. That's why I want to read interviews with this dude. I want to know where that's coming from.
Yeah. And then this close-up right here too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but dude, those like his vertical lines for like flat lands that are like warping perspective, that like,
yeah.
Where the fuck are you getting that? It is beautiful, but where are you getting that from? It has to be from somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
This nice water texture is hit or miss for me. I'm not
That's ugly as shit.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. Is that? Yeah, it was like some kind of texture that was blurred. I'm not a fan of it.
It looks like Meglia left it open and he tried to emulate water.
Look how good that is.
What the fuck? That is such a weird looking job.
Look at that. Look at that, dude. So good. This is why I was like, man, let Otis Frampton do a Jawa's Adventures book. It could be funny as fuck, dude. You know? Like, just give a special thanks to Meglia, because that's 100% where it came from.
It's not like they're doing anything with the Jawas. Come on, man.
This is as good a boat as anything like in Mask or G.I. Joe, right? Like,
well, hell yeah. Better than anything in Mask. G.I. Joe had some tits stuff at one point or another.
The story here is not that deep. They're just going underwater to find this item, and they hear some weird voices and nothing happens. It's all. This is interesting. He gets like a hot pose out of her dressing. Look at Lando rips open his shirt. Yeah. Doesn't really show them dressing. He just kind of does some hot poses because, gotta sell a comic.
I love the smoke on the engine there. It's like Dave Stewart doing really good.
His effects, like smoke and water effects, are right up there with Michael Gagne, who the effects animator, like Iron Giant and a million other animated films. Yeah, it's as good. You could really see here underwater.
Wow, holy crap.
When he goes underwater. Yeah.
Fuck, that's beautiful. And that black man that plays gorgeously against that spot black. Man, you can see some of the stuff he's building for Hellboy, can't you? Wow.
So not a lot actually happens here. It's well drawn, but
that describes a lot of this series.
Yeah.
Very cool action sequences.
Smart to not color all the water, by the way.
That's how I would have preferred to have seen it in the earlier panels, is like just the stuff that's being affected.
You want to know why he didn't? Because he's using that texture and it would warp as it goes across the page. Yeah.
Okay.
And since it's here, it would look weird, Now this background is a paint daub's photo. I guarantee it. That's clouds. That's a photo paint. There's a paint daubs filter you can do in Photoshop. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like
warped
and stretched out and stuff.
I do like how it plays against those heavy blacks though.
But like this panel's dope where Boba comes out the water. It's got the, it's all great.
Anything where
Meglia perfects this water with the photo texture trick in Canary.
Yeah. Yep.
It looks as good. The water, folks, go check out our video where we cover Canary, Meglia's Canary, because his water rendering, and Meglia did all the coloring on that. It's as good as anything like in Prince of Egypt, the animated movie. Like it's that level of good.
Yeah, it just feels like anything where he put lines in that Stewart could go in and use holding lines and like reference, like just killed. God damn it, is that a good fucking panel?
Yeah, he draws exploding shit awesome.
That warped perspective sells it so well. I love Chewie's hand just barely breaking the panel too.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then look at Chewie hiding. Yeah.
Salty Chewie.
Dogs don't like to get wet.
Fair enough.
Sorry, there's a military copter flying way too low. Yeah, this vehicle's like it's almost 3D, but it's not.
Yeah.
He just drew it.
Wow, that's Meglia. I don't understand.
I love this when he does this thing with the water.
Yeah. Those bubbles are great, man.
The space background I'm not a fan of. I can't tell. We're not there yet, but there is a point where the other colorist takes over. It might be this part.
It's only the last issue.
Helen Bach, yeah. I'm not a fan of. I think that, it's similar, but I don't think it's quite the same. It's got some good stuff, though. Like, this is great.
That's really Corbin.
Right? The greens and orange.
That's really Corbin, yeah. And the purples, man. Interesting tonal shift there.
And this rock goes all the way behind, And
he is doing the spire following through again. Yeah, man, so he's a big fan of that.
And the Jawas run, he can kind of use
running down at the bottom. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. See, man, he should have played with it a little bit more like that. That's really brilliant. That's cool. That's cool.
And we get some really great jungle shots. Like first, this spot black of just the Falcon landing gear and stuff is amazing.
What do we need to focus on? We need to focus on the ship.
Yeah, not a great design.
We need to know. No, it's hideous. It looks like some sort of. It looks like Blinky the fish.
It's Futurama, or remember that? Yeah, the three-eyed fish from.
Yeah, Blinky the fish from The Simpsons. That I'm sure was the basis for the design.
He might be doing that as a goof. Yeah, he might be doing that as a goof.
I don't know.
But like this jungle foliage with the projected foliage shadows on the floor.
I just like looking at that. It's the Chris Bacalo Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
right there.
And he starts to do this in this issue where he takes a silhouette with people on branches looking down.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times, but usually people will at least render the branch out, and I really like how he just is ballsy enough to be like, fuck it, black line through the fucking center.
Because he started his career in the 70s, it reminds me of like the Filipino artists like Alex Nino and them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
So that's probably an influence too, right?
I guarantee you he was looking at Alfredo Alcala, Alex Nino. Yeah, I mean, like obviously Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I mean,
but he knows where to draw like all the grass when he needs to. He's putting grass all on this shit for no reason. It looks great, but like
I know it's like the body hair. It's just like I just like noodling.
Yeah,
I will draw this.
But Star Wars is a world of details. Even when they're simplified, there needs to be a certain specific type of detail, I feel. And he nails it. These aliens don't mean shit. They just basically, they have this is the Yavin Vassilika, you know? It's basically Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? With the thing in the film without a far less interesting version of it, you know?
The poor man's Star Wars.
Right. Or Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah. God.
Well, if you remember, Sean Gordon Murphy did around 2004, 2005, a short Han Solo story that was mostly silent. It was Indiana Jones.
I didn't read it.
Yeah. Where Indiana Jones discovers the Millennium Falcon on Earth. And I wonder if you go back and look at it, and you look at some of this Meglia stuff, you might see some...
I was getting ready to... I mean, I said it earlier. I was like, wow, that's a Sean Gordon Murphy face.
Might see some similarities.
Man, I love the moss on that huge fucking... That is so goddamn beautiful, dude. That's like Sam Keithian.
Right, Frazetta.
Like Frazetta, Plug, Wrightson, Keith. God, it's beautiful, man. But I think that's probably none of those, probably more likely
it's
Filipino guys.
Yeah, but it's Frazetta and the Filipino guys that turned the Nino and those guys. They turned those paintings into line art, right? Like they figured out, and so he's doing that here, and he's doing projected shadows on this. You know?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Folks, if you think that's easy, go do it. I want to see how far you get, you know?
That's one of my favorite things about Adam Kubert is his ability to do that, man. It always stands out. He's great at that.
Yeah, Kubert's fantastic. We're almost done here. So
I promise, guys, we will eventually shut up about this book. And like, I know that I did kind of bitch about the story earlier, and like, honestly, it is kind of confusing, but like, dude, you got the internet. It's super easy to go and look up all the stuff you need, and even stuff that you don't. But like, this book is like fun. And and like, I don't necessarily say that about a lot of like comics, in the sense of like, they're just fun. And I don't know about you guys, but like me personally, I just need a fun book every once in a while that's not like it's not shut off your brain stupid, and it's not like super fucking serious. It's just like, here's a comic that is perfectly executed. Have fun with it. Here's some crazy shit.
Right. Yeah, now we get the Boba Fett shots. Like, the issues do end with Boba Fett, you know?
Well, yeah, he seems to be like, he knows where the money shot.
He's not waxing fools, though. He was basically hired to protect Han Solo, so he doesn't have to fight him, you know? So they get around it. So it's kind of a shame you don't see Boba Fett like set a dude on fire, kick ass. He's just like he's macing dudes, and you know, like, but it's drawn really great.
I was gonna say, I just want to see him do a body count with Boba Fett. Thank you.
Bounty count.
Bounty count. Underworld bounty count.
There's just some really dope shots coming up. So.
No, dude.
Look at this space yak, dude. Look at this space yak.
What the hell, dude?
Look at this.
That's totally Zim right there, man. Yeah. I'm loving it. I love the smiling guy. It's so creepy. I'm trying to think of, like, there's somebody I'm trying to think of. His faces remind me a lot of somebody else too, and I just cannot for the life of me place it. See, those are some cool.
This is the last of the third issue. This is the last of the third issue. So it ends with that, or the fourth issue. It ends with that, and then it goes into this. That's why there's two similar shots next to one another.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That looks fine anyway. I mean, I wouldn't have.
Right.
Whatever. I wouldn't have given that a second thought. Except for he didn't put any interplay between those two panels. Now that you say that, I'm like, he would have put like details going up and across the page.
Now this Han Solo tends to get a little, Doctor Strangey, right? So, but again, I'm fine with it being a design less than an actor's appearance, or likeness. Sorry, actor's likeness. He does this too a lot of times, where he's got 2 wide panels and he does the circle.
Yeah. I like usage of panels that are not rectangular or square. So
bro, that's what I'm talking about.
But why are you doing that? Like 3 people noticed, and like we all love it, but really?
He's been gone almost 20 years, and I'm over here going, motherfucker. I see you.
Man, that's and Dave is just selling that so bad.
Oh no, this one is the other chick, Helen Bach. Yeah, she did the last issue.
Oh, you're right, dude. Okay. Hey,
but I'm telling you, it's virtually seamless.
Commendable.
Yeah, I had to go back and check. I'm like,
Yeah, you're totally right. Commendable.
And here we got the gorillas. Now, this is an interesting thing she does. I wanted to point this out. She'll do it in a few panels, coloring wise. Let me zoom in. Mother. So where there's grass down here, she took the Photoshop brush and increased the spacing. So sometimes when you have like a textured brush, if you go into Photoshop and increase spacing, you'll get these weird steps, to do this repeated pattern.
Mm-hmm.
She's used it to create the feeling of grass. Those dots that it creates, the spacing dots.
Oh, cool.
And and she's stroking it like across in perspective.
Nice.
So you can tell it's a brush, but it does work. Like it does create, a bit of texture versus using now some people, sometimes they use like a foliage brush, which you should never use.
Which you should never use.
Never use. This is before mixer brushes too and shit,
Yeah.
Look at Meglia drawing.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's 2000, 2001. It's like he hadn't seen Two Towers yet. So
why would you do that to yourself?
He does it, man.
It's just masochistic, bro.
Mad respect from Rob. And then look at here with the foliage. Let me zoom out a little bit. Just the full, and then they're running. Look at this little Jawa motherfucker.
Man, that's a good explosion.
This Jawa just takes off with this shit too. Like running out. We got a nice big oven mitt ham.
Oh, yep.
And then we got this creature is behind him gets exploded. Like you can see eyeballs and
stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and his Boba Fett waxes them. It's like the one thing Boba Fett destroys. This is like the Terminator 2 pose, right?
Yeah. He's got the dude, getting ready to do the pump reload and everything right there. Wow, that's great.
I saw Thunderbolts. It's all right, man. It's kind of like a TV show. It's fine. It's not genius, but it's fine. It's got likable characters. But there's this whole sequence where Bucky does Terminator 2 for some reason, and I'm like, somehow I could watch this. He's doing it well. The actor pulled it off. He's riding the bike and he's doing it.
Well,
so, props to him. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it wasn't steaming pile of donkey crap.
No, it's fun. It's just your mileage depends on I don't know. It's for me. I would say it's like above Ant-Man or right at Ant-Man level. So if you like the first Ant-Man movie, it's around that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, it's very likable characters. Yeah.
So back to this cool comic book.
We're about to get to this. This right here is Han Solo's girlfriend, Bria. From that story. Right
then like they reference her a couple of times, and I was
think,
like, well,
is this Dodonna? I think that's Dodonna. If they don't say, you know, it just says old man. I think that's supposed to be Dodonna because he's got the beard.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
You wouldn't even know who that is, but I'm just saying.
Nope.
And so all this shit here is like tying into this novel they don't even mention. You know, it's hilarious. Bria, like who the fuck is Bria? I love that face though. You see this? Remember when Atlantis came out? The artist from Black Sag, he was working. He helped animate the blonde from Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought she looked like this.
That's a Tim Sale looking face almost to me, like
but not quite. It has like a Betty Davis thing.
Yeah, no.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember when Sale did that one? Not Tim Sale. Remember when Bruce Timm did that one Two-Face image that was very noirish?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. European and South American cartooning, you know, has.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Argentina, they import a shitload of European comics, right? Because I got a bunch of friends down there who are like Asterix and Obelix fans, you know. So they got to have that stuff.
As they should be.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Asterix. Look at this fucking Boba Fett. It's the best Boba Fett run pose ever done.
Super dope, man.
See how the feet go into the ground? They don't make any sense.
I was just looking into that.
That's like, what I did on the cover to Spawn Kills every Spawn issue 3. You go look at the Commando Spawn. I did that as a nod. But this is, we're gonna zoom out and then zoom in. DeLuca effect on this page.
Yeah.
So you got a tree here, and then up here you got the characters, right? And he's doing that extra panel within a panel.
Yeah.
And then here they're up in the foreground, so Boba Fett gets like a half page, you know, pinup.
Ooh, that's just a masterclass page right there.
Isn't it? Like
it really is. And it's
this is a hard thing to draw, dude. Like,
well, and it's really easy to read, and it tells a story, and it's a way to look at all the dialogue that he's able to fit on that page.
It's got projected shadows, it's got foliage, it's got perspective, it's got the details. God. The only thing it doesn't have is she hasn't done as much weathering on
like I was gonna say the panel where he's running, I was like, man, it's kind of like trencher colors. They're like
little bit.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
more readable than trencher though, but yeah.
No, I did not the line work, but yeah, the color work almost is like that same shape trapping, and like it works.
It's not at the same level, right?
No.
The step down, but it's not it's you know, most people wouldn't tell.
Yeah, it is good coloring. Especially for this time.
Then they switch positions. See, Lando's in front, Han's back
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And then he switched sides. And then we get this little wizard bit. All he's doing is dropping this so the key comes out, but Meglia gives it this like Merlin like layout.
It almost looks like he's holding a magic wand in his one hand.
Right.
Like he's hamming it up there. Yep. You can't use the glow effect like he can you?
No, it's not quite the same.
That is a shame. Some of these pages look really good though, man. Wow.
Yeah, but they're very good, dude. I mean, had the whole book like this, you wouldn't be complaining. Just, you know what I mean? Like you can see there's a difference. This page is the one I love. This rebel. This is the rebels in the forest that's got them surrounded. They're all coming out the bushes, high angle foliage, right? And then she's used that brush. I told you to create the texture. Yeah. Which I normally wouldn't work, but I get why, you know, it does work. Like it, but yeah. So
her purples are really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Really make the page.
She's following what was done before, you know, and not like redoing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then the last page.
I quit.
That angle of both, that's crazy.
I don't know how you draw that. His legs.
I know how. I can do it, but yeah.
Well, I know you can, magician.
I got to work, you know. So when we get some sketches in this thing, this is what I was saying. There was the secondary covers were Tim Bradstreet. So we got these Tim Bradstreet covers, but it just doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why? They should have got, no, it's not art by Andrew Robinson. So it's Andrew Robinson pretending to be Tim Bradstreet. But you know what I mean? Like, it's the same. I don't know. I just, you can see here, like, come on. What is that? You know?
Man, that's cool. I love how like Lando almost looks like Superman there.
Yeah, there's a couple Superman comics he did not just Infinite City, he did another one that pretty much is that. The rendering's more comic booky, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Look, I Andrew Robinson, I'm not gonna knock you. But, you know, if you're doing the cover for Meglia, like, look at this bullshit. Like, look at that. Just...
At least it doesn't look like house style shit. At least he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. And then...
It's not his fault Dark Horse hired him.
They did this colored version of Meglia's. But there's a painted version of this that's even better. It's a little overdone with the colors.
Issue 5, cover art by Carlos Meglia. So they did use
the 5th one. Yeah, I don't have it though. I've never seen it on the racks. I'm sure it's on eBay somewhere, but I couldn't find this one in the wild at the time.
Well, but I'm just saying, at least they did use one.
No, you got me there. You got me there.
Gotta put the book.
I stand corrected. I was wrong. Whole video has been for nothing. So,
well, no, I didn't mean it. Like, I'm just saying, at least they gave him one.
But you know, YouTube. You know, YouTube's like, now, Rob, you did do a cover. You got me the 5th issue. What an adventure, Uncle Jake.
I had fun with this book. I really did.
I have fun every time I see Meglia's art.
I was gonna say I didn't understand a goddamn thing in this book for quite a while, but I had fun with it.
We'll eventually get to the Crimson miniseries he drew that's colored in a way that I just don't understand, and that'll be a shame. That'll be tough.
They should have just called Dave back because that was sheer fucking brilliance.
Yeah, Wildstorm fucked it up.
Yeah, leave it to Wildstorm.
So, all right, man, guys, Carlos Meglia, go check out our other videos if you want to see more on Carlos Meglia. And go check Comic Art Fans and Heritage. There's always something of his drawn around. There is some original art that someone was selling of his, but I was really skeptical because the prices weren't expensive. So at the time, I didn't buy it because I was like, it's coming from overseas, and I just don't trust these prices. And someone on Comic Art Fans, you know, bit and posted it, and they're like, it's all paste up. It's not the actual art, you know?
Ooh.
It's the art, but pasted up. Like, so I don't know how that was put together. So, yeah, I don't, those pages are clearly of the line art, and maybe it was Meglia doing things separately and he was using paste up on the board to make that work. I don't know, you know, or it's just a complete ripoff. I don't understand it. But you can see his line art. It is out there, but I don't trust that those are the actual pages, you know, until like maybe the guys that knew him can tell me otherwise, you know?
Yeah. Hey, you know, guy who published the book and dug our video. If you hear that, let us know. Did you see his original art? Did he do paste ups? Because that just seems weird.
He owns some original pencils he sent me, which was pretty awesome. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't look like that. So we'll see.
No, it did not.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Uncle Jerk. Be bold.
Keep cartooning.
Peace. What's up, crafties? Make sure you follow me, Sketchcraft, at YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else on socials, as well as Jerk Comics on YouTube and on Instagram and all the other socials. You can also check out my stuff at sketchcraft.com, so you can find my art, and you can buy my stuff at shopsketchcraft.com. If you'd like to get some comics I've made, Spawn Kills Every Spawn, issue 1 through 4 on racks at all your comic book shops right now. Issue 5 out December 18, 2024. And the trade paperback coming to you July 29th, 2025, all the way next summer, but we're going to have cause to celebrate. Spawn Kills Every Spawn. Go get that right now. Support the old Sketchcraft, and we'll see you next time. Peace.